Welcome,
Greetings,
Kindreds.
It's Megan, and I'm so excited to be jumping back into my book journal, reading diary. I'm not sure what to call it. So I've got the two inserts. This one that we're going to be working in, I did add a really cool sticker to the back there, as you see. And the other one is the one I've been chronicling what I've been reading each month, beginning in January of 2025. Some books that really stand out, I want to give their own page. I am going to have a whole little couple of 7 pages, I suppose, of Anne of Green Gables later on. But first, which is a reread for me, let's start with the first book that I actually read in 2025, another reread, and that is Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is such a dynamic book in so many ways. I will not spoil it, really. It is a Victorian classic that I absolutely adore. The first time I read it, I was 14. I was born in the 80s, so that was over 20 years ago, which just kind of makes me feel very, very old and nostalgic in some ways, because I remember reading it when I was babysitting and the kids had gone to sleep and sitting on this teal leather couch, as people had back then. So these little seals and some other bits I have gathered to potentially use in this spread. I love this postcard with the candle in the window. Reminds me of Jane as a child in her cousin's house, but I did go for this one because I love that it's really her in the front and then Rochester in the back, because it really truly is the story of her. This image I didn't use either. It was just like too haunting, but I do love this little sticker here that came from one of my pen pals, because there are so many parts of this book about women walking, and Jane goes on lots of walks. I'm not going to use that boat, but you can see these are some other just kind of colors and things that I was looking at and playing with for background. So yes, I really wanted to kind of capture the beautiful atmosphere. Actually, all of the Bronte sisters have really atmospheric books, and for me, Jane Eyre is kind of a darker, you think of the cold, and England very much so. So I wanted dark kind of sepia browns, but I wanted to play with that navy as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the book. I'm going to talk about my pages that I'm doing here on this spread. I go back and forth. It just is how I go. Charlotte Bronte wrote like this from Jane's perspective. So you're hearing from Megan's perspective today. So yeah, I did want that. The Traveler's pages, the cream color is so lovely, but it just does not suit Jane Eyre at all. So we're going to layer some pages as we get into this book. I really love Helen in the story too. There are lots of interesting characters in Jane Eyre. Rochester, I don't remember disliking him as much at 14 as I do now. And I do understand why he is who he is, but there's some parts where he's just kind of testing her that give me the ugh. But what gives me the yay is Jane's response. She is so noble and strong. Not noble, humble. She is so humble and strong in who she is. And that's something that I really like about the novel. Here I'm just trying to figure out which wash she would go in, is that even from a young age, Jane knows who she is. And she just stands firm in that. And she doesn't have to shout it. She just is who she is, and she doesn't go against her beliefs in her heart. Okay, I am going to back these. This is just some acid-free navy paper that I had from another project. I really want the cards to pop, and I don't want everything to be dreary and brown, so I do want to have a little bit of that navy, because it does remind me of my book cover. I have a lot of these beautiful gold kind of gilded things right now from a journaling kit, but they just don't fit this theme for me. So yeah, I want all the backgrounds to kind of look a little weathered but beautiful, just like Jane, right? A little weathered but beautiful, because she is written to be this very diminutive, little woman, and she couldn't be a bigger presence if she tried, right? And people that actually take the time to know her in the book just adore her, because she is witty and bright, and she does question things. Or there's a lot of, in Bronte's novel, where it looks at, feminism and religion and class and all those good things, but not in a way that is, shoved down your throat. So, I really enjoy that. And her prose, if you are a writer or you appreciate good writing, I really love the prose in Jane Eyre. So, okay, now I've got those bits. Sorry if you get like weird jumps. Sometimes things don't make the video. Also, as you'll see on over the course of this, I did this one day after work, and I was rapidly losing light. So it will get darker, but that's all part of the moodiness. Maybe I planned it. I did not plan it, but that's okay. And so when I am doing these spreads, I will do some writing in there, but it's not going to be like a paragraph. If someone picked up and read it, they'd go, okay. And that's kind of how I journal as well. So I might write, Jane Eyre is my mom's favorite book. I love this part and this and that. It's kind of how I talk too, right? It's just kind of my stream of consciousness. Now, I couldn't figure out where I wanted to place these, so I decided the postcard, I would attach it kind of as a tip-in, and I do like doing those, especially because it mirrors how you open a book, right? And I will put something over this clear adhesive to make it look a little bit more cohesive. So Jane Eyre too, like I said, very, very strong woman character, which we didn't see in writing in that time. It was published in, I think, 47 or 48. It might have been published under her pen name in 48. And then under Courier Bell, and then republished. I love that camo washi. It's a gift from my one of my best friends, because it looks like the times to me too. Not all of my pages in this will directly reflect the books that I read, but this one, there's a mood I wanted, and I went for it, right? And then I just play with paper. I don't like strong lines going through, even though this one's going to get covered. It just, like, to me, feels more organic or cleaner in that way. I am curious if you love classics. I love Victorian classics, clearly. But I love so many novels from so many genres. I love haunted witchy things. I recently read The Wedding People. That's my first book of this month. And it's really not my style, but it is a bestseller, and a lot of people I know have read it, and I wanted to know what they're reading about. That's kind of when Twilight was a thing, I read Twilight, or when Hunger Games was a thing, I read Hunger Games, because I wanted to form my own opinions. And I actually like both of those series in my own little way. Neither of them are like favorites, but I do think there are elements that are really enjoyable about them. Anyways, I was talking about The Wedding People because the main character, or one of the main characters in that, is a professor, English professor, and loves like Victorian period, Victorian times, and she talks about Jane Eyre going on walks. And although I think I gave that book 3 stars, like it was okay. I mean, I understand what the hype is about. There's some cool themes in it, but it wasn't my favorite by any means. But I liked some of the things she said about the Bronte sisters and other little literary references that were snuck in there. I do appreciate those. And, I'm trying to build up my literary, my classics bank, but also still have time for my Frida McFaddens and my Stephen Kings and my, just really good, enjoyable reads, more or less. So yeah, if you have book recommendations, please let me know. Here I'm looking for some washi that has writing on it, because it's a book journal. So yeah, I would love to hear too what you're reading, even if you think it's a style I wouldn't like Akatar. I did not finish the series. Please don't come for me. I know that it's so popular. And tell me, no, Megan, you have to get through. I read the first 2, and maybe I DNF'd book 3. That was about a year and a half ago or so. My one of my good friends, actually, her daughter was reading the first one, and we made like a little book club, and we all read the first one. And I liked it okay. The second one I liked more, and then I just kind of, I don't know, I don't think I'm a fantasy kind of girl. Here I am adding a quote, and I cannot see like from as I'm narrating or doing my voiceover, but it's I'm going to paraphrase. It's, I am no bird, no net ensnares me. I am of my own free will, is the gist of it. You can probably read it if you're watching this. But that is one of the most dynamic quotes that Jane says. A lot of the things that she says and does are much more of a subtle strength. But this one is very powerful, very requoted, because it is her standing up and saying, I don't think so. And I do love it because also just the metaphor used, I'm not a bird in a cage. I am my own person too. And then I've got my little haunted lantern there I kind of play with. Here I am just kind of adding more bits and bobs. I really, really enjoy decorating pages, and thinking about them, thinking about the character. It's probably a little bit overdone, but it's a book journal. I don't know. So yeah, I am definitely excited to make spreads of some other novels. I'm curious too, if you are watching, if you made it this far, do leave me a comment. Would you rather see pages done and then me flip through and just kind of talk about them quietly or quickly? Or do you like seeing the process? Because like here, do I want that seal to be seen or not seen when you open it up? But I do like the little like snowman doubling of it. So I enjoy watching people's processes, how and where they put things, especially when they are moving things around. And here you can see I am rapidly losing the light. So I enjoy that, but it may not be for everyone. It's certainly easier. I'm playing with my light. I'm sorry. It's certainly easier to have everything done and then just do a voiceover, but maybe that's not as fun. Okay, so I added some bits. I added Career Bell, which is her pseudonym or pen name, and Thornfield Hall because it's so iconic. I thought of having like a little Thornfield somewhere on this spread, but I thought I would just put the words because it is not the home but the people really that make it for me. And I pulled this out actually to add the bird to that quote because I thought that was just too fitting, and I do love little bird things. The other thing, I'll keep adding some intrigue. I'm going to do a little journaling on a piece of paper and add that in there. And like I said, it is just for memory keeping. And, this is kind of my log to myself of what I read, but having fun with it, adding bits and bobs, and layering things because it's therapeutic. It's fun. I love thinking like, often what kind of book covers I would make for certain books, and sometimes they just don't fit at all. It drives me insane. Like, why would you have this really cheery cover of this sad sadistic book or whatever it may be? So yeah, this is kind of how it's turning out. I do want to add a little bit more navy. You can see my light is really going. So this beautiful blue floral washi, I did want to give it just a little bit more. The page was maybe a little too dreary even for me and for this novel, which does have quite a bit of sadness, but a lot of strength and joy in it. So just adding a little bit of touches, a little romanticism there. It is a love story, but more so to me is a story about a woman finding herself and owning who she is. And another little quote, not so much finding, because I feel like she's always known. You just kind of stand more true in who you are as you age. At least that's been my lovely experience, and I hope yours. I'm sorry about the glare here, but you see I've got my book here, and that was part of the inspiration for this page. And this is my finished for now product until I randomly add something, which often happens. Let's hope to see you for the next one.